Hello everyone, in today's video we're going to talk about how to set goals for your project management career. We're going to discuss how to analyze where you are right now in your career and go over the steps necessary to find out where you want to be in the next 2 to 3 years. So let's get into that right now. Before we start, I want to let you know of my course, IT Project Manager Interview Success. You'll learn how to structure your past experience into a project management resume and learn techniques to prepare you for the next project manager interview. Also, please subscribe to be informed of future videos related to project management and find the link for the course in the description. Let's get started. Firstly, what you want to do is that you want to evaluate your career opportunities. And firstly, first question you want to ask is, how can you act on any positive or negative feedback you've received over the course of the last year? If there's any teammates or even your management that has provided you with any positive feedback, what was that? Or what was any negative feedback or any opportunities that you received over the course of that year? You want to note that so that you have a starting point for your improvement plan. So make a note of any feedback that you've received over the last year. And second here is, what do you feel are your strengths and weaknesses? What you want to do is that you want to analyze what you personally feel are your strengths and your weaknesses over the course of managing projects in the last year. And a good thing to have here, and what I would recommend, is that if you have some sort of like a bulleted journal, not something that you write endless words or story about, but just bulleted points each and every day, where at the end of the day, you just kind of reflect on what you felt went well with the project and what you felt did not go well with the project. And then in that way, what will happen is, with that journal, you can identify specific strengths or weaknesses when it comes time to do your performance review, or anytime you're meeting with your manager to discuss your performance. The next thing here is that, how can your strengths be used to minimize your weaknesses? So going back to the list that you've created up here, both based on your personal feelings or the feedback from your managers, take a look at your strengths and weaknesses and try to identify if one particular strength can overshadow a weakness that you may have. And you may be able to identify this pretty quickly, or you can go over this with your manager, and your manager can help you to identify strengths that can overcome your weaknesses, or give you some of the other strategies that they've done over the years as a manager, because it's likely that your manager was in your shoes at one point. So it's good to get insight from them and almost leverage them as a mentor for you to improve your performance here. And then the next point here is that you got to be very honest with yourself, and you have to understand if you're living up to your current role. It's not good to blame shift or blame your team as to circumstances. You have to remember that as a project manager, you're totally accountable for the projects that you work on. So if there's extenuating situations or processes, definitely give feedback on how those processes can improve. But the thing is, as a PM, you have to be very persistent, and you can't sit back and say, well, this process is not working, therefore I can't do my work. You have to jump over those boundaries, and that's what's expected of you. So be honest here and just identify those areas that you need work on and have a plan for improvement. And another thing here is that I wanted to ask here if you're interested even in the next step up from your current position. And what this means is that you may not even be interested in the position of project management, in the sense that if you're not interested in the roles that are higher than you or the next level up, it doesn't make too much sense to continue pursuing on that track. Now, I'm not saying that it could be a total career change where you have to go back to school and get a separate degree or anything like that. It could be just a mild change, like maybe instead of project management, maybe you want to get into the subject matter expertise area of IT, something that doesn't require you to go back to school, but to learn a new application or to do some internal training. So you could be in that spot. So you have to be honest here and ask yourself, are you interested even in the next level up from where you are right now. Because if you're not, you could be putting yourself in a position where you're going to be in the career that you're unhappy with. So you do want to do that analysis. And then next here is that we want to set up specific goals coming up in the next year and beyond. And if you're in a position where you do enjoy your project management work, definitely find out the career path by speaking to others in the organization that you work at. Because what happens is that a lot of times certain organizations have certain career paths. Now, there may be generalized career paths for project management. Like if you Google it and, the career paths come up, but that's based kind of on experience or opinion, but your organization may have a specific path set up for project managers. So you want to find that out and understand what that is. And then what you want to do is that for the next level up, you want to ask your manager, of course, if it's possible to move up into those roles, that'll be great. But if it's not possible to move up into those roles, the next thing you want to do is that you want to do the work that's involved in those roles in the next level up. So you want to start volunteering and asking your manager for those extra duties that are involved at the next level up. So like if you're a project manager and you want to get into program management, maybe what you can do is that you can ask your manager to manage 2 or 3 projects at the next time. And then in that way, you can do reporting to senior management at that level, because program managers, a lot of times they do presentations to senior management. So you want to be in that position and ask your manager if you can do those types of presentations. So that's an example there. And then create a plan to minimize your weaknesses. Again, your manager can step in and mentor. They can help here. And you can have a specific plan. It could be training, or it could be other activities that you can engage in to minimize your weaknesses here. And then what happens here is that there could be a potential where there's no upward opportunities, in the sense that, let's say, for example, maybe what happens is that your organization is opening up a new office in a different state or in a different country, and they're kind of winding down your current location. They're not going to put much investment in the current location if they're planning on moving the company offices overseas or to another state. So if you find out in that example that there's no upward opportunities, you should really update your resume with work that you've done for the next level up. And that ties back into here. If you do the work that you volunteered for your manager, that's great, because that type of work you can put on your resume now. And then the managers who are looking for a program manager, let's say, for example, they'll see that you've done program management work and you have that on your resume. And then here, what you want to do is that, where do you want to be in the next 2 to 3 years? Think about where you want to be in that time frame. Me personally, I like to do iterative life planning, kind of like the way the Agile framework works, where you do some work in sprints, and then you plan the next sprint, and then you do the work, and then you plan the next sprint after that. So I think your life goals should be the same way, because things change so constantly. Look at the next 2 to 3 years. And then find out where you want to be in those next 2 to 3 years. And then once you get there, do analysis again and repeat this process, because things change so fast. As you've seen with various technologies that are created, right now is an exciting time because there's so many companies coming up with these awesome technologies that could be game changers for the project management industry. So that's just an example. And you want to plan every 2 to 3 years iteratively. Whew, that was difficult. And then the last point here, if you do decide that you want to move away from project management, just being realistic here, what job would you like to have? And you have to find out what experience or training is required and who can help here. A good idea here is, if you're out on LinkedIn, as an example, you can reach out to people and find out what current roles they have that you want to have. And you can just reach out to them, connect with them. And when you are connecting, just tell them, hey, look, I saw that you're in this position. Can we connect? Because I want to be doing the same thing that you're doing, but I just wanted some advice as to how I can get there. And you'll be surprised at how people are willing to help. I'm very shy myself, and I felt uncomfortable reaching out to certain people on LinkedIn regarding certain questions I had. And I was very surprised at how nice people are and how willing people are to help with your career. So definitely give this a shot if you are really stuck and thinking about moving away from project management. That brings us to the end of this video. Thanks so much for watching, and please remember to subscribe on my website with the link in the description. You'll gain access to free project management templates and newsletters. You'll also receive discount links to my online courses. All information is in the description below. Thanks for watching.